Now, one thing that I'm about to get into is the treatment of the Russian soldiers, which is absolutely just gangster. It's just gangster is the only way I can describe it. The way that the soldiers were treated, the way that the military was run, was just by brute force within the own chain of command. So there was no escape. This is what they were dealing with. So there's an unofficial set of rules, a kind of a code of laws, which, if violated, incur corporal punishment. If I stuck my hands in my pockets, I'd get a thump on the head. That is the privilege of the older soldiers. A spirit is what they call the new soldiers. They call them spirits. A spirit should forget about his pockets entirely. Otherwise, they will fill them up with sand and sow them. The sand chafes the groin, and 2 days later you have weeping sores. You can get a beating for anything at all. If a spirit doesn't show respect in his conversation with an older soldier, a granddad, he'll get beaten up. If he talks too loudly or goes about the barracks clattering his heels, he'll get beaten up. If he lies on his bed in the day, he'll get beaten up. If people back home send him good rubber slippers and he decides to wear them to the shower, he'll get beaten up and lose those slippers. And if a spirit even thinks of turning down the tops of his boots or walking around with his top button undone, or if his cap is tipped back or on his head or to one side, or he doesn't do his belt up tightly enough, they'll thrash him so hard he'll forget his name. He is a spirit, the lowest dregs, and it is his job to slave until the older soldiers have been discharged. And then he goes on. So that's sort of the basic military situation that they're in, and that he's raised in, and that sort of the garrison, meaning not the combat situation, but just the garrison, the standard Russian situation if you're a soldier. Now here's the situation he's in. But there is none of this in our regiment. All of that stuff is just child's play. It's the big leagues here. I can walk how I like and wear what I like, and it doesn't bother anyone. They beat us for completely different reasons. Our older conscripts have already killed people and buried their comrades, and they don't believe they'll survive this war themselves. So beatings here are just the norm. Everyone is going to die anyway, both those doing the beating and their victims. So what's the big deal? There's the runway, 2 steps from here, and they keep bringing back bodies by the dozen. We'll all die here. Everybody beats everyone. The Dembles with 3 months of service to go, the officers, the warrant officers, they get stinking drunk and then hammer the ones below them. Even the colonels beat the majors beat the lieutenants, and they all beat the privates. And the granddads beat the new recruits. No one talks to each other like human beings. They just smack each other in the mouth because it's easier that way, quicker and simpler to understand. Because you're all going to bite it anyways, you bitches. Because there are unfed children back home. Because the officer corps is addled with impoverishment and hopelessness. Because a Demble has 3 months left. Because every second man is shell-shocked. Because our motherland makes us kill our own people who speak Russian. And we have to shoot them in the head and send their brains flying up walls, crush them with tanks and tear them to pieces. Because these people want to kill you. Because your soldiers arrived yesterday straight from training, and today they are already lying open on the airstrip as lumps of charred flesh, and flies lay eggs in their open eyes. And because in a day the company is reduced to less than a third, and God willing, you'll stay among that third. Because the one thing that everyone knows is how to get drunk and kill and kill some more. Because a soldier is a stinking wretch, and a spirit doesn't have any right to live at all, and to beat him is actually to do him a favor. I'll teach you what war is about, you pricks. You can all have a smack in the mouth so you don't think life is too rosy, and thank your mother that she didn't have you 6 months earlier, or you'd all be dead now. Everyone hates everyone else in this regiment. The hatred and madness hang over the square like a foul black cloud. And this cloud saturates young boys with fear, just like pieces of barbecue meat being marinated in lemon juice. Only they get stewed in fear and hatred before they get sent off to the meat grinder. It will be easier for us to die there. So you've got some, the things you hear me talking about all the time, the camaraderie, the esprit de corps, the brotherhood, all of it's just gone. Now you're going to get to a point, and he does get to it, where you get to the frontline troopers when they're fighting and they rely on each other and they have the normal soldierly, brotherly, comrade love for each other. But as a unit throughout the ranks, you can see it's awful. And this is before we even get to the fighting.